Don, this camp might have won the battle, but they ain't win the war.
Well, T.I. decided to respond and play into it and say, I'm going to use it to promote my music. He said, at 56, I don't fear my past. I'm too focused on the future. Top 20 in 2 weeks and climbing. Now, hashtag let them know that. King, I'm love, not life. Hashtag my God don't play.
He wasn't just stirring things up anymore. This had clearly moved into something way more serious. At that point, 50 Cent wasn't throwing random shots. He was pointing directly at a set of long-standing allegations that have followed T.Y. and Tiny since 2021. And it looked like he was hinting at building an entire project around it. That's exactly why the title of this situation hit so hard. Because what people saw wasn't a finished episode. It was him putting his strategy out in the open for everyone to read between the lines. And people picked up on it fast because this wasn't new behavior. Anyone who's followed his moves before recognized the pattern immediately. Drop a hint, let the conversation explode, then step back and watch everything unfold. What gave this moment real weight wasn't just the idea of a documentary. It was the history behind what he was referencing. The story traces back to January 2021. When serious accusations connected to T.Y. and Bob, Tiny Harris suddenly pushed into the public spotlight and refused to fade away.
Yeah, who I wanted.
You want Weezy?
Nah, I said I wanted 50. That's what I said. He don't want no smoke, though.
Oh, Lord.
I called my man out. He don't want no smoke. He ducking smoke.
Documentary built around more than 20.
This nigga wanna say something about my mama. Your mama dead as fuck, nigga. Your mama dead as fuck. Go dig up.
The first major moment came from Sabrina Peterson, an entrepreneur who once had a close connection to the couple. And once she spoke out, everything escalated quickly. She publicly claimed that T.I. had threatened her with a weapon during an incident she said happened back in 2009. And once that statement went viral, it opened the door to something much bigger. According to her, messages began flooding in from others who said they had their own experiences to share. Within a short time, Peterson stated that more than 30 individuals reached out, describing situations that followed similar patterns, with claims ranging from being placed in uncomfortable situations to serious misconduct allegations over a period spanning more than a decade. By March 2021, attorney Tyrone A. Blackburn confirmed he was representing multiple accusers, and reports at the time indicated that several individuals had brought forward detailed claims involving T.I., Tiny, or people connected to them.
Good day, everyone. How are you doing? I'm just bringing it to your attention that it is now July the 6th. And I gave you 2 days for a grace period just because I had to get my shit together. I was having a good time, but 5 months, there's an app check for you or a paycheck for me.
Many of those accounts described being invited into private environments like parties or hotel settings, where they later questioned what they had been given and whether they were in a position to fully understand or agree to what happened next. Some of the stories were highly specific, with individuals describing situations where they felt they were not in control of their circumstances, which only intensified the public reaction. And this wasn't limited to a single voice either. Attorney Lisa Bloom also came forward stating she represented additional individuals with similar experiences, adding even more attention to the situation. Major outlets later reported speaking with multiple people who described patterns that raised serious concerns, while legal representatives pushed for official reviews in different states, pointing to what they described as repeated behavior over time. That's what made everything feel heavier. It wasn't just noise online. It was a growing situation with multiple sides, legal involvement, and a timeline that people couldn't ignore. This was information that had already been sitting in public records for years.
Post a picture of your motherfucking mama, nigga. She dead, nigga. Pay respect, nigga. Shit, niggas raised. I'm not raised like that. I don't go. I'm not going about my mama. What's wrong with you, nigga? Y'all just better tie y'all motherfucking shoes. Y'all just don't know who the fuck y'all fucking with.
And now it looked like 50 Cent was ready to bring it all back into the spotlight for everyone to see again. That's exactly why the situation felt so intense. Because going back and forth in music is one thing, but facing a full documentary built around serious allegations is a completely different level of pressure. Back in May 2021, the LAPD confirmed they had opened an official investigation after at least 2 individuals came forward with reports. But by September of that same year, the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office decided not to move forward with charges, explaining that many of the claims were outside the legal time limits. Around that same time, VH1's reality show T.I. and Tiny Friends and Family Hustle was suddenly canceled. which only added more attention to everything happening. Even without criminal charges, the situation didn't just disappear. In January 2024, it came back into focus when a woman identified as Jane Doe, described in reports as an Air Force veteran.
Some people call me Tip, but this is about another kind of tip that can help our mothers, our sisters, our brothers, and our fathers help get the perpetrators who commit crimes against them off the streets. All you got to do is call Crime Stoppers Atlanta. Tips can be anonymous, and there's even a reward. The number to Crime Stoppers Atlanta is 404-577-8477. That's 404-577.
Filed a civil lawsuit under California's Sexual Abuse and Cover-Up Accountability Act. That law temporarily allowed certain older claims to be brought forward again, which reopened public discussion in a major way. In her filing, she claimed that back in 2005 she met T.Y. and Tiny in the VIP section of a Los Angeles nightclub, was given a drink she believed had been tampered with, and was later taken to a hotel room. She stated that she was in a condition where she could not fully understand or agree to what was happening, which made the claim extremely serious. T.I. and Tiny strongly denied the allegations and pushed back in court, asking for the case to be dismissed. By August 2024, a judge granted that request after the plaintiff did not respond to court filings, and the case was dismissed with prejudice, meaning it could not be brought back again. Throughout all of this, the couple has consistently denied every accusation, calling them false, exaggerated, and completely untrue. In a public statement tied to the lawsuit, they made it clear they believed the claims had no basis and said they were prepared to defend themselves fully. At the same time, a separate legal situation was still developing.
Gentlemen, you see him, the gentleman, an ambassador of the South, has, now I'm trying to get an update, Tip. You called out 50 Cent and said you want to do the versus
let me tell
battle.
you something, guys. Hey, listen.
Here we go.
Hey, look, let me tell you something, guys. I know what the most entertaining, and probably the most relevant, humorous thing for us to talk about. And I guess we can talk about it.
T.I. filed a defamation lawsuit against Sabrina Peterson in September 2024, and that case remained active with a trial date set for June 2026. So while things may have held up inside the legal system for now, that only applies within the courtroom. Because outside of it, the conversation was still very much alive. And that's where things start to shift. A documentary doesn't need a legal outcome to make an impact. It can bring old claims back into public view, reintroduce past stories, and reshape how people see everything. That's what makes this situation feel risky, because even without charges, the narrative can still be rebuilt and presented in a way that reaches millions. This is exactly why the pressure feels different here. Legal results can close cases, but they don't always close public debate. Cameras can revisit timelines, speak to different perspectives, and connect years of headlines into one single storyline that people can follow from beginning to end. And that matters, because 50 Cent isn't approaching this like a legal figure. He's moving like a producer with a plan. If you look at his track record, there's a clear pattern to how he operates. He doesn't rush randomly. Everything tends to unfold in stages, and each move builds on the last.
How did Falant's family find out about his death?
I told him. I called his mom first, then I told his cousin. I told his little girl.
How old was his little girl?
His daughter was 4 years old at the time. Five years old at the time.
And how did you tell his daughter that her father was dead?
He's in a better place and he won't be coming back. And I told him how much he loved her.
And how did you tell his mom that her son was gone?
Well, first I apologized. I apologized because, I felt that, all of those rounds were fired for me, in my opinion.
Through G-Unit Film and Television, he's built a reputation for creating sharp, attention-grabbing projects that focus on controversial stories connected to people in his world. And that's why people are taking this so seriously, because they've seen this strategy before. First comes the social media moment, where posts grab attention and spark conversation. Then comes the narrative building phase, where blogs, interviews, and online discussions start shaping how people view the situation. After that, production begins, and by the time cameras are involved, the audience is already locked in and waiting. The final release isn't what starts the story, it's what finishes it. It takes everything people have already been talking about and organizes it into one complete narrative that sticks in the public mind. That's the real power behind it. What makes his approach stand out is that he doesn't create the original claims. He collects what's already out there. He takes past reports, public statements, and scattered headlines, then connects them into a structured story with a clear beginning, middle, and end. Once that's done, he places it on a platform where millions can watch it all unfold in one place.
50 Cent decided to wake up this Saturday, February 7th, on the dark side of the bed once again. And if you follow, you know I done spoke on that before, how I feel 50 Cent does not wake up on the wrong side of the bed in the morning. He wakes up on the dark side. And I say at least about half the month, maybe about 15 days, he gonna get into the capital C's and go at somebody.
That's the bigger picture behind everything, and that's why this situation feels like more than just online back and forth. On March 5th, 2026, things escalated again when 50 Cent shared older footage of T.I. appearing in court and paired it with references to a crime tip hotline. At first glance, it looked like typical internet trolling, but the timing and presentation felt very deliberate. The way the clips and captions were put together seemed designed to keep two separate conversations active at the same time. Long-running claims about past behavior and the resurfaced allegations that people were already discussing again. The caption itself sounded casual, almost like a joke, but many people didn't take it that way. To them, it felt more like a signal, something meant to keep attention locked in and build anticipation for what could come next. Around the same time, blogger Tasha K added even more energy to the situation. On February 28, 2026, she posted on X, claiming that sources close to 50 Cent suggested a documentary project was already in the works, focused on the long-discussed allegations involving the couple. According to her, the goal was to revisit those claims and present them in a detailed format, which immediately got people talking even more. She also shared a strong message directed at the Harris family, suggesting they should step back and lower tensions, warning that situations like this can escalate quickly when handled publicly. While all of this was unfolding online, the music side added another layer. 50 Cent released tracks that many listeners felt carried indirect messages connected to everything happening. One release tied into the theme for Power Origins, and even though no names were mentioned, the timing had people connecting it to the situation. Then, on March 7th, 2026, another track dropped titled No More Tricks, No More Lies featuring Max B. Again, nothing was stated directly, but listeners quickly began analyzing the lyrics and linking them to the ongoing tension. One line stood out in particular, where the message focused on not believing everything being presented.
The conversation came from, if we in a case together and I die, put it on me.
God bless.
Put it on me, bro. If I'm dead and you can go home, man, put the case on me. You hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
And unless it was some shit I wouldn't be a part of if I was alive, you know what I'm saying? If you got some dope and I'm gone and you're like, man, shit, it wasn't mine, so, man, why not, bro? You still have a life to live after I'm gone. Why would I expect you to, where is the logic in that?
Right.
Where's the logic in that?
And that alone had fans debating what it could mean. But what really caught attention was the caption he added when releasing the track, a short but powerful statement saying, "I am the algorithm." That one line said a lot without saying too much. It showed that everything happening, the posts, the music, the timing, might all be part of a larger strategy playing out step by step. This was never just about firing back at another rapper. The whole situation felt way bigger than that. The real goal seemed to be controlling the conversation itself, getting ahead of the narrative before the other side could shape their own version of events. People who were watching closely started noticing something key. The Instagram posts, the trolling, even the music drops weren't the main focus at all. They felt more like setup moves, like everything was building towards something larger. The real target looked like long-form content, something that could take all the controversy, organize it, and present it as one powerful storyline to a massive audience. And that strategy isn't new. There's already a blueprint for how effective that kind of approach can be. Back in 2019, the documentary series Surviving R. Kelly pulled in huge attention and reached tens of millions of viewers. That project showed how a structured story could reshape public perception in a major way. So, when people started seeing a possible title like Surviving T.I. and Tiny being discussed, it immediately raised eyebrows because it followed that same format and tone. From that angle, the move looked calculated. It places the target inside a specific narrative box and challenges them to push back against it before it fully takes shape. And once a story like that reaches a wide audience, it becomes very difficult to control how it spreads or evolves. T's response to all of this came quickly and very directly. On March 5th, 2026, he posted a video from the set of his Let Him Know music video and addressed everything head-on. In his caption, he made it clear he was ready for any type of competition, music, hits, or even documentaries, signaling that he wasn't stepping back from the situation at all. Not long after, he dropped a diss track titled Trauma Bond.
You and 50 got a beef or something, man? Because I seen a post today where they were saying that you were supposed to be in, I guess one of the Power, what's the name? I guess two of the actors on the show said that you were actually supposed to be on the show, and then they replaced you with Method Man, and they weren't expecting it or something.
No, that's not true. 50 and I, we were executive producers on a different show outside of the Power universe. But nah, man, me and 50 cool. I'm the only one who's not offended by his brass approach, and he's not offended by mine. So, you know, we play rough, but we ain't no issue. It's a mutual respect.
Keeps the conversation alive.
Adding another layer to the back and forth, his message stayed consistent. He was open to whatever came next and wasn't backing down under pressure. But one specific detail in his response caught people's attention right away. He used the phrase doc for doc, and that wording stood out. It hinted that he might also be thinking about telling his own version of the story through a similar format. The question is whether anything on his side could match what 50 Cent already has in place. And established production network, industry connections, and a huge audience already paying attention. While all of this was playing out publicly, the situation had already shifted into something deeper. This was no longer just two artists trading shots. It had expanded into something involving the entire Harris family, and every reaction added more attention to the story. One of the biggest turning points came from King Harris. His Instagram Live moment, aimed at 50 Cent, quickly went viral and pushed the situation into a whole new level of intensity. The internet reacted instantly. Reactions came in fast, loud, and divided. Almost immediately, people split into different sides. Some defended King, saying he was standing up for his mother and protecting his family. Others felt that bringing up personal family matters, especially involving someone's late parent, crossed a line that shouldn't be touched no matter how heated things get. Even voices within the hip-hop world stepped in. Uzi Badaz spoke publicly and made it clear he didn't agree with how far things had gone, saying certain topics should always stay off limits in public conflicts. His comments reflected what a lot of observers were starting to feel, that the situation had gone beyond normal rivalry. At the same time, it became clear that King wasn't acting alone. The entire family seemed to be responding as the pressure increased. T.Ui's other son, Damani Harris, who was building his own path in music, released a diss track titled Ms. Jackson on February 27, 2026. But his approach felt different. Instead of leaning into personal attacks, he kept things focused on lyrical competition, which some listeners saw as a more traditional and controlled way of responding within hip-hop culture. Even younger members of the family became part of the moment, which added another layer to everything. A short video featuring Heiress Harris appeared online, showing her singing, and it quickly gained attention because of the timing and context. The caption connected it to the ongoing criticism surrounding her mother, which made the situation feel even more personal for viewers following everything. Tiny Harris eventually spoke out as well, addressing the situation on Instagram. She supported her sons and praised them for standing up, making it clear that from her perspective, this was about family loyalty and protection rather than disrespect. To her, it was a family standing together under pressure. T.I., however, gave a more layered response when speaking about everything later on. During a podcast appearance, he explained that he had spent years trying to guide King away from situations like this. According to him, the conflict created a moment where those lessons were being tested in real time. He also revealed that he stepped in and told King to stop after a certain point, especially following the t-shirt situation that many people online reacted strongly to. Even among Bet supporters, that moment was seen as crossing into risky territory. Later, T.I. explained his reasoning for being involved in the conflict in the first place. In an interview with TMZ, he framed it not as a battle to win, but as a situation about showing support for the women in his family when they felt disrespected. That perspective shifted how some people viewed his actions, from competition to protection. But that approach also comes with risk. When family members step into a public situation to defend one another, emotions can escalate quickly. And once certain lines are crossed, it can create new angles for the other side to use. Observers watching closely pointed this out right away. Some even suggested that legal teams could be paying attention to every move being made publicly. The idea was simple. In situations like this, one misstep could create consequences beyond just online reactions. 50 Cent eventually responded to the situation involving his mother in a post of his own. His message was direct and personal, pointing out that he lost his mother at a young age and highlighting how the situation had been brought into the spotlight. That response shifted how some people saw everything, placing him in a position where many felt sympathy in the public conversation. What started as a rap feud now carried emotional weight that went far beyond music. Even rapper Uncle Murda, when asked about the situation, initially treated it like entertainment, but then paused and corrected himself mid-response. He summed it up in a simple way that captured the shift perfectly. What once looked like entertainment didn't feel like that anymore. The tone had changed, and the situation now felt much more serious than a typical back and forth. As of March 8, 2026, there is still no official confirmation of any documentary. No network has announced a deal, no streaming platform has released anything, and no project has been formally introduced. What exists right now is a mix of signals, a history of similar moves, ongoing tension, and a noticeable silence from 50 Cent that keeps people watching closely. And that silence might be the most calculated move of all, because it keeps the conversation alive without revealing what comes next. A lot of people are looking back at past situations to understand what could happen next. One example that keeps coming up is the documentary series Surviving R. Kelly, which premiered in 2019 and reached around 26 million viewers. Years later, legal outcomes followed. But what really stood out was how that documentary shaped public understanding in a powerful way, organizing years of claims into one clear and impactful narrative. That's the exact model many believe 50 Cent understands extremely well. But Tour's situation is not identical, and that difference matters. Many of the claims connected to past allegations fall outside legal time limits. The civil lawsuit filed in 2024 was dismissed with prejudice, and no criminal charges have been filed against him in relation to those accusations. From a legal standpoint, that's significant. But public opinion doesn't always follow the same rules as the courtroom. And history shows that 50 Cent doesn't need a legal verdict to create a major shift in how someone is viewed. If a documentary were ever released on a major platform, the impact could stretch far beyond social media conversations. It could start affecting real-world opportunities. Touring plans tied to T.A.'s album King could face increased pressure. Public reactions could grow louder, and business ventures like the Trap Music Museum might receive more scrutiny than ever before. Even his acting roles, including appearances in major film franchises, could become part of a much bigger conversation if public attention shifts in that direction. And it wouldn't stop there. Tiny's music career, including reunion activity with Escape, could suddenly be pulled into the spotlight for completely different reasons. Projects built over years, real estate moves, television deals, brand partnerships, could all end up being viewed through a new lens if the narrative changes. Instead of headlines focusing on success and growth, the conversation could shift back toward the same allegations that have already circulated for years. That's the kind of ripple effect people are talking about, and it's why this situation feels so unpredictable. But there's another side to this too. If a documentary were to come out and it doesn't bring anything new, no additional voices, no new verified details, no fresh perspective, then the entire strategy could turn the other way. T.I. has maintained a confident and steady public stance for years, and his supporters have stayed loyal through multiple challenges, including legal issues, time away, and waves of public criticism. That kind of support doesn't disappear easily. If the project ends up feeling more like personal rivalry instead of a serious breakdown of events, it could actually strengthen his position instead of weakening it. Some fans are already saying exactly that the situation feels driven more by long-standing tension than anything else. And knowing 50 Cent's history with online trolling and calculated posts, that interpretation isn't surprising at all. But there's another layer that adds even more tension to everything. T.I. himself hinted at it when he responded with the phrase "Doc for Doc." That line suggested he might have something of his own in mind, possibly a project that would flip the spotlight the other way and explore 50 Cent's past conflicts, business situations, and personal history in a structured format. Whether that actually exists or not is still unclear, but the idea alone creates the feeling of a standoff. And when it comes to situations like this, perception can be just as powerful.